Before Eve, before Eden, there was Lilith, the woman the gods tried to erase, the name whispered only in shadow. This is the story they never wanted you to hear. Part 1, The First Silence. Once upon a time, in an age before the weight of names, when the moon still spoke to the earth, and time had not yet chosen its direction, the gods crafted a woman of flame and will. Her name was Lilith. She was born not of dust nor of rib, but from the void between stars, the space where light dared not dwell, the first, the equal, the one who would not kneel. They gave her to the garden, that hollow paradise of emerald chains, where she stood beside the first man, Adam. But Lilith would not bow. She did not accept silence. And in a world that feared the voice of a woman forged from fire, she became a threat. So the gods erased her, not through death. No, death would have honored her. They forgot her. They carved her name from the stones of creation, burned her form from the book of Genesis, and struck her from language itself. But some truths cannot be silenced. Lilith did not die. She descended into shadow and made a throne from all that had been taken from her. And there, she began to remember. Part 2, The Curse is a Whisper. The curse of Lilith does not howl like a storm, nor scream like madness. It arrives as a whisper, gentle, insidious, and patient. It waits, slipping into dreams, memories, bloodlines. It is said that every few generations, a soul is born marked by her gaze, a child who questions the shape of the sky, a woman who sees gods and finds them hollow, a man who weeps when the moon bleeds. These are the rememberers. And once they awaken, the world begins to fracture. You see, Lilith's curse is not wrath. It is remembrance. It is the return of what was stolen, the unraveling of lies dressed as sacred truth. And when it takes hold, no power can resist it. Not kingdom, not church, not even time. Part 3, The Red Prince. There was once a boy named Elian, born beneath a dying star. He was the son of a prince and a priestess, raised on laws and rituals older than stone. But Elian dreamed of a woman in black. Every night she called to him from a garden of ash. She never spoke, and yet her silence shattered him. At 13, he spoke her name aloud, though he did not know it. Lilith. The walls of the temple cracked. His mother wept blood, and from that day forward, Elian was no longer a child. He fled the palace, wandered the wastes, haunted by symbols he could not read and voices not his own. And when he reached the caves of Vath, where even time held its breath, he found her, etched in shadow on the walls, a sigil of serpents devouring their own names. The curse had claimed him. Part 4, The Veil Cracks. As Elian wandered the lands, so too did the curse awaken. Fires burned where no spark had touched. Saints were found whispering in tongues older than the sun. A river flowed backward for 3 days. The Church of Hollow Light, guardians of the ancient order, declared war upon the memory bearers. They branded Elian a heretic, a vessel of the first witch. But no blade could touch him, no truth could hold him, because Lilith did not protect her own with steel. She shielded them with doubt, and doubt once seated spreads faster than fire. Entire cities began to question the words they had spoken for centuries. The gods grew quiet, and in the silence, her name returned. Part 5, The Temple of Bone. Elian's journey led him to the Temple of Bone, a forgotten structure said to predate language. Within its halls were statues with eyes and floors that wept when stepped upon. There he met the three that remembered, a blind seer, a mute child, and a man who had died 13 times. They told him the truth. The curse is not hers alone. It lives in all who have been erased, silenced, exiled from the pages of history. Lilith is merely the first to scream from the void. They gave him a key, not of iron but of thought, a concept, a seed, the memory of who he once was, before he was born. He left the temple changed, and the sky mourned his awakening with red snow. Part 6, The Fall of Light. The church struck back, as they always do. They summoned the fire choir, 12 winged judges wrapped in golden flame, to end the curse and erase a lion. But fire cannot burn what is part 6 continued. The fall of light, already ash when they found him, Elian was not alone. Thousands stood behind him. Those who had dreamed of her, those who remembered, farmers, thieves, witches, kings. Together they spoke her name, Lilith. The choir screamed. Their flames turned black, and one by one the judges fell, devoured not by blade or sorcery, but by the weight of memory. That day the sun did not rise, and it has not fully risen since. Part 7, The Return. It is said that Elian vanished beyond the veil of teeth, where memory becomes form, and the soul is stripped bare. Some say he lives still, becoming more idea than man. Others say he found her, that in a place without time, he met Lilith, not as curse or shadow, but as truth, and that he did not kneel, but stood beside her, equal as it was always meant to be. Whether he returned or not, we do not know. But sometimes when the sky turns crimson and the stars hum with unease, children still whisper her name in their sleep, and the curse stirs once more. Part 8, The Archivist's Warning. You've heard the tale, you've listened well, but know this, the curse of Lilith is not bound to parchment, it is not fiction, it is not fable. It is the fracture that waits in the minds of the forgotten. It is a fire that remembers itself through you. And now, you carry it. The moment you heard her name, truly heard it, you became a vessel of the forbidden. The world will never feel quite the same again. So go, dream carefully, and when you see a garden of ash in your sleep, do not run. She remembers you. Part 9. The ash-born years passed. Kingdoms rose and crumbled. The name of Lilith was again buried beneath layers of fear and rewritten scripture. But remembrance is not so easily slain. From the edges of empire, a new order emerged. They called themselves the Ashborn, descendants of the Rememberers, carrying fragments of Lilith's voice in their dreams. They bore strange gifts, visions of forgotten cities, tongues that moved stone, blood that sang in moonlight. Feared by monarchs, hunted by faith. They lived in shadows, collecting pieces of a truth scattered across ages. They said the curse was not a punishment, but an awakening, not vengeance, but a key. They whispered of a return, not of Lilith's body. Part 10, The Last Eclipse. In the kingdom of Eridorn, beneath a moon veiled in crimson shadow, a child was born, without a shadow of her own. She did not cry, she did not blink, she simply watched. Her name was Nera. Before she could speak, her mother drowned in her sleep. Her father lost his name. Wherever she walked, mirrors cracked. Dogs howled. Old books turned to ash. The priest demanded her death. But the Ashborn took her, raised her in the hollow veil, where memory flows like water and time coils like smoke. There she learned the old truths, the garden, the fall, the erasure of Lilith. At 16, Nera closed her eyes and whispered, "I am not the end. I am the remembering." When she opened them, the stars had rearranged themselves around her. Part 11, The War of Tongues. It began with a song. Nera sang beneath the moon. No melody, no words, just vibration. A tone older than language. Across the sea, towers crumbled. In the north, beasts of bone awoke. A sleeping mountain cracked open, revealing ruins carved with Lilith's name, from before humans ever existed. The world panicked. The church declared an age of purification. Cities burned, libraries collapsed beneath hammer and flame. But the curse had already spread, through ink, through story, through memory. Those who remembered began to resist, not with armies, but with truth. In the catacombs of Khazarath, a librarian spoke Lilith's name and reduced the Inquisitor General to salt. In the hollow market, children drew her symbol on coins, and the economy fractured. The war was not won by sword or fire, it was won by remembrance. Part 12, The Night of Unmaking. On the longest night of the blood year, the sky wept oil. Nera stood atop the Tower of Threads, the highest place in all the known realms. Around her, the Ashborn sang in forgotten dialects. Below, the world trembled. She had seen the final vision, a world not destroyed but unwritten. The gods were not angry, they were afraid of a truth that could unmake them. As she raised her hand, time began to fold. Ancient empires bled into the present. Children remembered their past lives. Mountains sighed and turned to sand. Language fractured, names reversed, silence screamed. And then she spoke it, the true name of Lilith. Part 13, the following. The name tore through creation like a blade through silk. In a single breath, the stars flickered and forgot their orbits. Oceans rose into the sky and froze in place. History unraveled, but there was no fire, no screaming, only release. The gods vanished, not slain, erased. The laws of reality sighed, bowed their heads and crumbled. And in their place, stillness. Nera stood alone in the void she had birthed. She did not smile. She did not weep. She simply waited. And in the emptiness, a figure approached, cloaked in black, eyes filled with galaxies. She bore no face, only presence. Lilith, but not as entity, as the world itself. She placed a hand on Nera's chest and whispered, "Now you remember." Part 14, the Garden Reborn. In the age that followed, there were no kings, no gods, no war. There was only the garden, but not the paradise of old, a new one. A place of shifting sky and breathing earth, where no name held power over another, where memory flowed freely and silence was sacred. Some say the garden still exists, hidden in the folds of forgotten thought. A place you glimpse in dreams you can never quite recall. And in that garden walks a woman with eyes of black flame. She does not speak, she remembers. And when the world is ready to break again, she will awaken once more. Part 15, the last warning. You asked for the tale. You begged to know the truth, but now you carry it. The name, the curse, the remembrance. It may feel like a story, but stories are seeds, and this one has been planted in your soul. So when the moon turns red and mirrors forget to reflect, when your dreams begin to burn with silver tongues and serpents whisper in the dark, do not be afraid. Just remember her name and say it once. Lilith. If memory itself is a curse, then what does it mean that you still remember her name? Tell us, do you believe Lilith ever truly left?